18, now 15 states plus D.C. allow people to have the right to vote. Right. So I don't know that Bernie's position is appropriate. I would agree once you're in prison, I don't know that the right to vote is appropriate. But my concern is the laws of our country are disproportionately applied to people of color. And so there's real disenfranchisement of the African-American vote, of the Latino vote. So you're talking about, 6.1 million African-Americans that the vote is taken away from.
Well, there are currently 1.5 million.
That's a different conversation, though, and I think that's a valid one.
I think it's part of the same conversation.
So I will say that I got up at 5:30 this morning. I couldn't sleep last night, and I woke up really early, and I saw this clip. And I will say, talking about prison reform and talking about low-level crimes like Alice Marie Johnson getting let out of prison, I believe a woman like that should have the right to vote for all intents and purposes. But for Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris to go on TV and say that the Boston terrorist deserves any rights in this country after killing 3 people and injuring 264 in 2013, I think is disgraceful. RNC turned that into an ad. It is not hard to say people who commit acts of terror in this country should not only be punished, but God forbid they should have any rights that any of us had, or someone who commits a low-level crime like smoking pot or getting caught with a dime bag of pot and going to jail. It is not hard to put lines between terrorists and people who commit low-level crimes. And I was very upset about this morning because just one second. If Democrats want to drag everybody this far left, this is why people like me are so upset and so disenfranchised with how extreme this is. It's not hard to say the Boston terrorist was a psycho lunatic who is a threat not only to national security, but shouldn't be allowed the right to vote in any elections. It's not that hard.
Very clear, though, Kamala Harris did not say that. Kamala Harris said
we should have a conversation.
We can have a conversation about it, but I think we need to make it very clear.
And that's fine. That's not good enough for me.
Say that.
That's not good enough for me. Kamala, that's not good enough for me.
She was a prosecutor in California. This is clearly something that she has worked on
they
before.
Have discussed.
And I feel like she's thought about it before.
Well, but
does anyone here think a terrorist should have the right to vote?
Well, here's what I'm going to say. If they let this terrorist out because he served his time, he gets if he's an American citizen. Why is your mouth open like that?
Whoopi, he killed people.
Yes, lots of people do this.
He's a terrorist. He's a radicalized terrorist.
Our Constitution says if you've done your time, you have, we hope, been reformed, you've been changed, you've been grown. If they let him out, that means they feel his time is up and he gets to become the American citizen
He should never be let out. He's a radicalized terrorist.
Well, but you asked me about the book. He's probably never going to get out. But I'm saying,
question: does anybody at this table think anyone who's committed an act of terror that killed 3 Americans and injured 264 should have the right to vote? Anybody at this table think yes?
Well, no, that's not the way to ask that question because this is 2 different conversations.
It's not to me.
I get that, but it is to me, and let me remind you why. If you've done your time, that's what prison reform is about. If they let this man out, they are saying he has been reformed. We have fixed him. He's been
rehabilitated.
We have rehabilitated him.
He's met his debt to society.
That's what.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful to any of you, and I understand this is the view.
But we are talking about if he were to be let out.
If he should never be let out.
That's not the conversation.
If he were,
that's not what you asked.
I said low-level crimes. I said low-level crimes like Alice Marie Johnson.
But then you said, who here thinks that this should happen if he gets out?
I'm sorry. 11% rise in terror. I mean, we talk about the rise in terrorism and violent crimes in this country all the time. And the idea, I'm telling you that I am open to women like Alice Marie Johnson, who I think we all can agree was put into prison for too long. When you are talking about terrorists,
how about
the idea
you're missing the point.
Hold on.
Yes, you're missing the point because when you you keep saying if they let him out. Well, yes, if they let him out, he gets those rights back. That's what we're talking about.
I don't agree that if this terrorist were let out,
not get out.
I think he should be given the death penalty. I mean, that's where I'm at with this. People who commit acts of terror on American soil.
Does this include, in your mind, domestic terrorists also?
Yes.